It's Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. A big welcome to all the new subscribers to this channel. I really appreciate you being part of this as we go forward and track some big winter storms. Now, we're watching one system right now. This is the one we've been tracking for several days. And in this video, I also want to look ahead at a couple areas we're watching for either some snow or even some big areas of rain. So we'll take a look ahead as well in this video. And what we've been watching from overnight and this morning, the surge of rain, Southeastern US. We've been seeing that back through North and South Carolina, parts of Georgia, even Mississippi, and then lifting to the north. This in through here, a concern of some icing. I'll show you that in just a second. Backside, some of the snow trying to wind down in Indiana, parts of Ohio. Now, what's going to happen with this system? It is right on track from what we've been talking about together. I-95 corridor, mainly a good deal of rain in spots, that snow more to the west and north of I-95, and watching the icing. So in through here, here's some of that additional icing or kind of some sleet getting mixed in anywhere from Strasburg south through James Madison back toward Lexington, just in this sliver here, watching that really just off toward the east of Beckley, watching that across 81. So heads up for any travel through here, right across the mountains, watching out for some of the icing that will be possible. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain mixed in depending on just how cold that surface is. Now, with that said, I mentioned I-95, watching that north and west, better chance of snow. What's going to happen with a system like this is there's going to be significant snow, but it's not necessarily going to be super widespread. It's going to be more of a sliver, and that will include the Atlantic region of Canada, which I'll show you. But as we go through the day, you could see some of the snow that will be intruding. May start as some snow first, DC back toward Baltimore, watching Annapolis, maybe get kind of a few flakes mixed in. But we're looking at mainly rain as this works in. Then as we work our way back toward Philly, over toward Villanova, back toward Scranton, the Dunmore area, Wilkes-Barre, we're going to see again some of this snow working in and just increasing throughout the day. Albany, and then we'll see some of the precipitation. Hartford over toward Waterbury, New York, back toward Cumberland, Providence, Boston. We'll see some of that rain moving in. So I want to break down where it's going to be rain, where it's going to be snow in this video. Now, this is later today, and you can see here, jumping ahead in time, I mentioned the rain right through here, and here's that dividing line, right? So as we work our way back toward I-95, Boston's going to be a tough call, but New York back through Philadelphia, the DC area, we're mainly looking at rain as expected. This cold air back behind it. Here's that sliver, some of the snow. Worcester, for example, we could see some heavier snow at times, while in Boston, we're going to be on the edge of it. Providence should be mainly rain. This yellow in here, that would be some heavier rain, maybe a little bit of sleet, maybe a little bit of snow mixed in. But Boston, we could see a changeover. We're going to be right on the edge of it. It's not going to be too far off toward the west where we'll have some of the snow. Cape Cod and the islands, a heavy and cold rain. And then you can see even in Boston, if we don't get a whole lot of snow, which it shouldn't be a whole lot anyway, on the back side of it, there may be a little bit of snow. And then this will lift up toward the northeast of, or rather the Maritimes in the Atlantic region of Canada as it kind of progresses to the northeast. So this is later today. Let me jump back. This is 4 p.m. today. Again, here's Boston just to orient you. As we work our way through Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, don't leave anyone out closer to the coast. That's where we have a better chance of some of the precipitation. Then as we work our way into tonight, it's really this sliver. I mentioned how it's not super widespread with the snow. It's going to be a very fine line between rain and some significant snow. You could go not too far away, just a town over, and it's raining. And then the town you're in, we could have several inches of snow. By the time we get into later tomorrow, this starts to work its way off. The center of this kind of sitting over here just to the south and east of the Avalon Peninsula. Avalon Peninsula, kind of that close call southern section, some of the rain. On the back side of it at least, there should be some snow in Newfoundland. So again, northern sections, better chance of snow. But even on the back side over toward St. John's, there should be some of that snow as this all departs as we work our way into our Wednesday evening. Now, as promised, I want to take you longer term, show you what's next. I also want to cover some of the snow totals back west in just a second. This is the area we're tracking today as this kind of lifts through. The front not super strong back through Florida and the Gulf. As we pull forward in time, let's jump ahead a bit, and then I'll get to those snow totals in just a moment. But I want to show you this. By the time we get into Friday, this here is more of a southern system coming out of of Mexico, kind of a moisture feed back through the Pacific Gulf, swinging back toward the southeast U.S. You see that rain right there, but then we have this system diving down from British Columbia, Pacific Northwest, right across the Rockies. A little system here. These little systems really need to keep an eye out this time of year. They dive down because one of the things we could see, maybe a quick shot of snow, quick shot of rain, but I do need to see as this works its way in through the weekend, right across some of the higher terrain, if there's going to be any icing mixed in. Sometimes these little systems could not only be very tricky, but they could give us that possibility of some icing in spots. So we'll be watching that. Meanwhile, this southern flow, look at this rain right in through here, so I'll be tracking that as well as we go forward into the upcoming weekend. Now let's swing around with the snow totals, really on track from what we've been seeing. And again, right in through here, this is where we're going to watch out for a little bit of a mix with some of that icing. But you see in through here where you're not seeing anything, this is where we have the rain, and this has really been holding. It's been on track from what we've been talking about together for the last 3 to 4 days. You take Scranton, we're dealing with some of that snow, and you can see the totals up here, but you get back toward Philly, we're dealing with mainly a rain event. Maybe we get a few of the kind of wet flakes mixed in. This kind of winding down, watching Detroit, Toledo, Mansfield, back toward Pittsburgh, Altoona. Erie, though, watching out for some of the additional snow. And again, watching the Great Lakes just because we're going to see a little bit of the lake effect snow just kind of on the backside of this, as is typical this time of year. But looking at the totals, again, anywhere from DC, Baltimore, Philly, mainly nothing. Same thing as we work our way back toward New York. But you get toward Albany, the European model showing about 4.5 inches of rain. The American model about 5 inches of rain, or 5 inches of snow, I should say. So again, really on track with about 4 to 5 inches of snow, give or take. Now we get toward Boston. European model is showing nothing as far as snow goes. The American model is trying to show an inch. It's not that one's right or wrong. It's just going to be a close call as we go forward. But it really still the main threat of this as we get back toward Worcester, Springfield for that better chance of snow. Even really north of Hartford, that better chance of getting some snow. Not to say around Hartford we can't get a little bit of that snow mixed in. As we look over here, and again, I'll show you this as this grid cuts off. But this is that sliver of snow. I mentioned we're watching parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and then swinging right back toward New Brunswick. But where we have these brighter colors right in through here, these are those snow totals that could jump out there at about 7, 8, 9 inches, maybe 10 inches of snow, just that small sliver right through there. And then this would extend right toward Newfoundland, watching out for some of those totals. So again, this gives us a feel as a whole, but it's this sliver here where we could see some of those higher snow totals, right? Not a widespread event with this. This isn't the sprawliest of systems. It's not the biggest of systems, but where we have some of that snow, it could be substantial. And you see it here as well as we work our way back through Nova Scotia and then swinging back toward Newfoundland. And of course, keeping an eye on Prince Edward Island, but it's just that sliver where we could see upwards of 11 inches of some snow. That's going to be a possibility, not very widespread, but just watching that. So it'll be interesting to see your comments. Let me know kind of the snow you get, or if you're just simply getting that cold rain. I'll be watching your comments as we go throughout the day. Then we swing to the west, and we don't have huge systems, but we've got a couple impactful systems diving down that will add to some of the snowpack in spots and increase the snow cover as well in others. So again, monitoring this area here, you see the scale at the top of your screen. We've got a couple of those kind of quicker systems that will be diving down from British Columbia, watching Alberta, and then as we swing to the south through Idaho, Montana, and then swinging south through Wyoming, and of course watching, as I mentioned, Utah, Colorado, and even to the south. So some increased snow in through this sector as well. So monitoring that. Now, the northeast system, it's on the move. That sliver of some of those high snow totals that we will be tracking, but the coast, we're looking at mainly that cold rain as expected. And then monitoring a couple systems this weekend, that surge of moisture from Mexico back through parts of Texas in the southeast US. We'll be watching that rain, but then we get these little systems diving down from British Columbia across the Midwest, the plains into the Midwest. We'll be watching out for that to see if there's any icing as they eventually move toward, say, West Virginia and Virginia. So a lot to cover as we go forward. So thank you. I'll be watching your comments. Thank you for being part of this channel. I'll be watching the comments as we go throughout the day to see kind of what you're getting or not getting, and I appreciate you being part of this weather community as we continue to build it as we go forward. So I hope you're doing well. Be safe. If you have any icing or any snow, have a good rest of your day.